'Tis I, Marinara Man. 'Tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back. Glad to see you looking fresh. So today, I want to talk about 2021. The film slate is insane. Because we all know what happened in 2020. Everything got pushed back. Everything got delayed. Things got sprinkled in here and there that were supposed to come out last year. Eventually they did. But hey, if everything that got pushed to 2021 happens, this year is going to be insane for film. I want to say I'd put money on it, but I would have put money on it last year too. And with my luck, that wouldn't go too well. But anyways, I just want to talk about 20 films that I'm excited to see this year. Without further ado, let's just jump into this. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to try to run through these very quickly. Because honestly, a lot of these I don't know that much about. Starting us off is Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I liked the first Venom. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I didn't think it was great or anything, but I thought it was pretty good. And I'm excited to see where they go with the character. The title's a little wonky. I'm excited to see what happens with it. I mean, I like Venom as a character a lot. I know a lot of people do. Obviously, Sony has a bit of a spotty track record when it comes to making their own Spider-Man films and Spider-Man Extended Universe films, but I have hopes that they make this one pretty good. Obviously, the first one was a hit for a reason. It was good. Next up is West Side Story. Obviously, a remake of an adaptation of an already known story. The original is obviously great. It's a classic. Spielberg has had a spotty track record more recently. Some of the stuff's a little boring, but if he can bring that magic into it, I think he can do a really good job. I think he'd be the man to do it if this film has to happen, so I have trust in Spielberg. Next up is the Uncharted film. This is one that if 19 of these came out and one of them didn't, this would be the one I'd say didn't come out. But we're constantly seeing more and more about it. We have our Nathan Drake cast. We have a director, I think, at this point. Knowing me, this video will come out and a new director will pop up. This film has been a mess in production, but I think it'll be at least decent. I'm more excited to see what happens with this film more than seeing the film itself, if that makes sense. Next are a collection of films that I don't know a ton about, other than maybe a character in it or the story it's based on. So I'm just going to kind of go through them all real quick. Death of the Nile, The Green Knight, and Deep Water are three very different films from very different directors, starring very different people and very different stories, but it's always cool to see different genres pop in. Death of the Nile was on my list last year. I love me a great whodunit. I hope that it's better than The Murder on the Orient Express, because that film was stylistically really good, story was a little bland. So I hope that this story adaptation is more fun than that one. Green Knight, I know next to nothing about other than the star, and it's by A24, and people have been clamoring for it for a long time, and as more people clamor for it, personally, I'm like, hey, there must be something there at least, so I'm excited to see what other people are excited about with it. Deep Water, I know next to nothing other than it stars Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. People have compared the story to Gone Girl, which I adore that film, so if it's anything like Gone Girl, I think we're in for a great movie there. Mission Impossible 7, pretty straightforward. The Mission Impossible movies are pretty damn good, so another one I'm all here for, especially after the last one. Holy crap, was that movie good. Matrix 4, do I think this film will be good? No, but it's still Matrix, and I will still see it regardless. That world is so creative, and I mean, HBO Max has said it's coming regardless. Here's hoping it is actually good, but if it's not, what were we expecting? You see the last two Matrix films. Other than the first one, you can kind of just leave the Matrix series as is. Halloween Kills. Slasher films. I love slasher films. Give me more slasher films. I know they were done to death in the 80s, and when Scream came out, they were kind of rebooted for a little bit, and then they're forgotten again, but I love slasher. It's one of my favorite subgenres of horror. Obviously, Michael Myers is an icon for a reason. I liked the reboot a lot. I've yet to see a lot of this franchise. I've only seen the first movie and the reboot, nothing in between. So I'll probably plow through those before the reboot comes out, but I'm still excited to see the reboot regardless. Dune, another film that was on my most anticipated last year, and it was way higher, but as time goes on, you know, opinions change, but I'm still super excited for it. I'm still ready to see what he does with this. Free Guy is a great concept. I hope it's more than just a great concept. I hope they have a full film there. Ryan Reynolds has been on a pretty good hot streak lately, so here's hoping that it's just a really fun, like, summer type movie. After that is a couple Marvel films. We got Black Widow and we got Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi's ranked a little higher because I fear that Black Widow will be kind of stereotypical Marvel affair, where Shang-Chi has the opportunity to be something really new and interesting with a character not a lot of people know. Here's hoping Marvel capitalizes on that. Next one's crazy. At number 7, I have No Time to Die, which is a James Bond film, which I would typically have very high on my most anticipated, but the next 6 I want to see more. Daniel Craig's last Bond film, the longest James Bond film. I hope they use that time well. I've seen every Bond movie. I like most of the Bond movies. They're ups and downs, but Bond can be great. I hope this Bond is amazing. I want Daniel Craig to go on a high note. Number 6 is Zack Snyder's Justice League, or Justice League Snyder Cut, whatever you want to call it. This is crazy that this is even happening. It's always rare to see a film get a director's cut like this. It's being released as a mini-series, so it's 4 hours long, so it's going to be by far one of the longest films, if not the longest film I see next year. It's definitely the longest film on this list by well over an hour. So I hope it's good. If it's bad, at least we'll get to see what Zack Snyder kind of wanted. I mean, obviously, big Superman fan, so more Superman's always good. As not to get beat out by DC, the next film is a Marvel film, The Eternals. This is very high because I feel like they could really do something interesting and super weird like they did with the first Guardians film. Just kind of go off, do something crazy we've never seen before. Space gods, just crazy shit, you know. Next up is The Kingsman, which I feel has been on my most anticipated list for the last 2 years, so hopefully we'll finally be able to see this movie. It's a prequel to the Kingsman movies. It's set in World War I, which prequel normally spells kind of but then World War I, kind of cool. World War I movies have been kind of killing it lately. I like Vaughn, I like what he does. I want to see it. You know, it was supposed to come out on Valentine's Day, it got pushed back, and the world stopped. So it got pushed back more. After that, Godzilla vs. Kong definitely was on my most anticipated last year. I just want to see a big lizard and a big monkey punch. You know, he's an ape, I guess. A big lizard and a big ape just duke it out. You know, honestly, do it like how some of the shonen films have been doing it. So this film was like 2 hours, right? Do an hour of build up and you have an hour of fighting payoff. Films like Warrior have done that. Films like Dragon Ball Super Broly have done that. It's possible to do a film in that structure and be really good. Just kind of like half and half it. Half build up, half payoff. That's all you need. That's all we want in a big monster movie with the verses in it. We want to see the verses part. And then, sneakily in there, DC got another one up on Marvel. The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. This film looks like it could be something special. If James Gunn delivers on what his promises are of any character can die at any time, this will feel like a 70s war film. This isn't like any superhero film we've ever seen before. The amount of characters in this movie, if anyone could do it, I have trust in him. Obviously, we get to see, you know, like Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang, what we saw in the last Suicide Squad movie, which we won't get into that right now, but we also get to see some really cool new characters, like my boy King Shark. Hell yeah. Love me some King Shark. Hopefully he doesn't die. If you want to get into the Suicide Squad mood, I'd recommend watching, there's a direct-to-video film called Batman Assault on Arkham, which is actually really good. If you were burnt on the last Suicide Squad movie, just go watch that one. Finally, number 1 is Last Night in Soho, which is a film by my favorite director, Edgar Wright. So anything he does, is gonna be my most anticipated. I love all of Edgar Wright's movies. I know next to nothing about this because I want to know next to nothing about it. I've been trying to avoid, like, cast lists, any marketing, even though I don't think there's any marketing for it yet, or like even genre. I've heard it's a horror film. I've heard it's not a horror film. Obviously, we've seen with Shaun of the Dead and even a little bit with The World's End, Edgar Wright can do some great horror stuff. So if it's a horror film, I'm all here for it. If it's just a horror film, I'm here for it, even if there's no comedy in it. All my faith in Edgar Wright. He's my favorite filmmaker for a reason. He's not stirred me wrong yet. So yeah, that's my list. Obviously, there's films not even on here that I was thinking about putting on. You know, we got a new Top Gun movie coming out. We got Quiet Place 2 coming out. And that Diary of a Wimpy Kid animated movie looks kind of cool. There's a Spider-Man movie that I keep thinking not coming this year, but it might come this year. This year's going to be stacked. But yeah, if you like this, make sure you like this. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.